Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dr. B, your Creole Connection. We are right outside the city of Gramercy on the river, and we're headed toward Gonzales. Today we're going to check out Houmas Plantation, because the one place you want to be at the beginning of springtime is on the property of Houmas House, because they have fabulous gardens. In fact, I call it the Garden of Eden on the Mississippi River. So yes, here I am in Gonzales, just heading toward the river road, and I'm already thinking about lunch. I'm thinking about a hamburger and the fixins, and there's a place out here called Marlin's. Let's see if they're open and what they have to offer today. And here we have Houmas House. Yeah, so the Great River Road is a real thing. The Dixie Cafe. We're going to bypass that today, and we're going to head straight into the property and catch the hamburger place on our way out. Blooming azaleas. A lot of iris plants. This place is just beautiful. I mean, they have really done a lot to this property. And you can see here on March the 25th, it is in full bloom. So it's going to be interesting walking around the property. It's beautiful. There, the Houmas House is straight ahead. It's actually a tour that we're going to take. How beautiful is that? What a nice scene. I hate to turn this into an ASMR video, but silence is golden here. You can hear the birds and the wind blowing very gently, and butterflies fluttering. Cars passing on the highway. And a lone worker raking leaves from these oak trees. This bell, I understand, tolls whenever a wedding takes place here, and you can hear it for a country mile. Now, this is hardly what we used to visiting. What we're used to seeing is full of distress, but this is plush, and this is why the gardens of Houmas House. This place is known for the grounds more than anything. Well, that's a postcard, isn't it? know if I'm going to get this angle again, but I want you to take a look at this oak tree. Now that is impressive. Reminds me of that tree in the movie Avatar. Central, overwhelming, ancient. So this sign points to the place where we're going to meet up with our tour guide for a tour of the mansion. A quick left here, and my senses are quickly overwhelmed by the pink and red roses lining both sides of the walkway that is full of the leaves, the ghost leaves of a tree, an oak tree with a branch that is literally growing 90 degrees from its trunk. Now that, my friends, is what I call a tree growing from a tree. Now do beware if you're planning on planting a live oak tree in your yard, because this is what happens to these trees over time. They can overwhelm a place. It's very nice, very friendly, a little nook with 3 benches facing each other, prepared for friendly conversations, a conversational nook if you would, beneath dancing branches with wind songs drifting by from wind chimes up high. That's nice. And the nice thing about this place is that around every turn there's a sitting place, a place to rest, to reflect, or to just soak in some of the peace. And as we walk here, we find the bell that will probably be rung by a well-read tour guide dressed in period regalia to lead us on our tour of the mansion. And just over here, more tables and chairs and sitting places. This place is just teeming with life and hope and beauty and peace. So this is where the tour of the house starts in about 6 minutes. So we're just going to wait here. You know, in many of these plantation homes, we have the home and we have slave cabins and we have storage facilities like stables and barns. But this place has developed in such a way in that it's so beautiful, so plush and lush, that you have a actual bar and a restaurant and a lot of modern facilities to take advantage of what nature has created, what God has created over the last 150 years. You don't get this overnight, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. This is time, patience, and attention to detail is what this is.
And then I'm also going to talk about the map that we have in here. This is an 1847 census map, and they preserve it. Because termites hate it, and it deals really good with it.
Wow.
So one of the first things y'all might notice in the dining room is that the statue of the table and the chairs are shorter than what y'all are probably used Church Street, Charlotte, in the 60s. But
That bookcase. Is that cool? I got money says that swims.
It's towards them. And then right next to that, we have this original 1800s vampire slaying kit. This was given to us by Anne Bryce. That would have been the 2-line bullet is going to be shot by the Confederacy. And the main reason why the Union had this so that the older kids can help take care of the younger kids. And also the netting you'll see on the bed is appropriate, mainly because of yellow fever. Mosquitoes carry yellow fever, so they would just tie that up at night and hope those mosquitoes don't get in. And then we have this little high chair in here, but you can also pull it down and it turns into a stroller, another multi-purpose item. And then they also have this kid's desk.
There's always one shot I like to get, and that's the shot of the approach to the mansion. And it's usually a walkway lined with oak trees on both sides, draped in Spanish moss. And this is that one leading from the levee up to the front door of the mansion.
Here, the rolling pin is up here on the headboard, and the main reason why we would have used this is because for a while our mattresses were stuffed with Spanish moss, that gray stuff out in the trees, and that's way less dense than cotton. So basically every morning when you wake up, there's going to be a huge dent in your bed from where you were laying down. So it's really easy to fix. You just get on one side, someone on the other side. Y'all can take this off and then roll it out together, make it look all flat and neat. And then right next to the outside, and they wouldn't have used human or horse hair because they basically would have had to redo these ringlets every day from the humidity making them all flat. So basically this just makes it pretty easy for the horse and buggy people to come in, either pick up people or drop off goods, whatever they're doing. So basically the horse and buggy would come in one way, drop all the goods off there, onto the porch, and just leave that on, sit down and have. And then once you were done, you just throw them up in this top part, and then you start grinding them up for another 30 minutes. And then you can have some coffee 2 hours later. But as y'all can imagine, the people living in the home aren't actually waking up 2 hours early to make their own coffee. They get one of the enslaved to prep a few weeks worth of coffee or something like that.
And so I'm back outside after the tour, and here's an interesting shot of the mansion nestled among the crepe myrtles, the evergreen shrubs, and beneath the branches of this oak tree. I can just about imagine the residents of the mansion on the upper porch straining against the morning fog, trying to make out approaching boats on the river. And here we have the doors leading to the passage where passengers of carriages would embark or disembark. And then there's this archway, and this, my friends, is scores of years in the making, where twisting vines from a live canopy leading from the big house to the restaurant cover your head. How beautiful is this? This must be amazing at night because you have little mini LED lights that light up like 1,000 tiny stars just above your head. And these, as you can see if you look closely, you can even see these through the light of day. This is just beautiful, and the more summer goes, the thicker the canopy grows. Very nice indeed. Again, this place is known for its gardens and fountains, and nooks and crannies where two people can experience next level romance beneath these well manicured trees. I don't guess it recalls very much the period, because a lot of additions have happened to this property over the years, and it has significant commercial appeal. But at its height, this was one of the largest sugarcane plantations in the South, with 900 slaves working the property. I was told that this little plot of land here in fenced was once a small garden, the way Louisianians keep gardens, with little mounds from which tomatoes and cucumbers and pole beans would grow. A few pieces of garden art. Vases and iron art. And river birch trees and chameleons. Everything's a nook and a nook here. So many interesting things. So many fillers and thrillers and spillers. I'm talking about the foliage and the plants. Everything is just 3 levels: on the ground, at eye level, and up high. A pathway beneath the branch of a live oak tree with resurrection moss on it. And it's called resurrection moss because it looks dead in wintertime, and about right now it starts to come back to life. There it is. Watch your head. Just take a moment and appreciate the wind chimes. Well, it's Friday at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and milling about this property, I've seen maybe 24 tourists. Not too busy, just the way I like it. We could take our time and just enjoy the quiet. My friends is called cast iron, and it's very popular in the South Louisiana especially. And what a lot of property owners do is they take this plant here that just waves in the wind, and they'll plant it around live oak trees as a border. And it's called cast iron because very little can kill it. So we're coming to the end of our tour. We've enjoyed the beauty of Houmas House. The history is mixed. This place has been added to and changed over the course of its history. It didn't start out with that magnificent, elegant home. It kind of grew organically. But here we are at the front of the property, and there's the levee. So we are 100 yards from the Mississippi River, and right in the middle of the trail, a canopy with a couple of inviting chairs for kids. It reminds me of the musical My Secret Garden. And here it is. Always a delightful character around your little curve. This makes it more commercial, more like Disney than some of the plantation homes we've visited in the recent past. Couple of chickens. That's what I would call free-range chickens here. Songs of nature. River of pink and white and yellow. So we're about to pull out of the parking lot at Houmas House and head toward Saint-Amant, A-M-A-N-T, and pick up one of those cheeseburgers that I was talking about. That's always one of the pluses of going on these little adventures, is eating some of the local fare, some of the better restaurants that you've heard about, and now you get a chance to go and try it out. I try to avoid the chain restaurants because there are so many little known spots that the locals enjoy, but those who don't know the area miss out on. So we're going to try a fully dressed cheeseburger. Let's try that out today and see how it goes. Well, here we are, just concluding our trip to Houmas House. It was quite a nice day to be out and about, milling about the property. The flowers were in full bloom. The food over at Marlin's was excellent. Something about a toasted bun with a hamburger that makes all the difference, with a little touch of butter. But at any rate, we're concluding our trip for today, and it was plush. It was nice. It was gorgeous. it lacked a lot of the seriousness that a lot of these plantation homes tries to preserve. But it's not as authentic as a Laurel Valley or a Getaway or some of the other ones that we've visited recently. It's more of a commercial property. In fact, the owner of the property, the current owner of the property, is the proprietor of the restaurant and the gift shop. You know, he continues to run the property. So it's one big business as opposed to a landmark or a taste of the antiquity of a bygone era. And you can still get that sense. But more than anything, the gardens are the selling feature. They're beautiful. Every aspect of the towering oaks, the sweet olive trees, the Natchez magnolias, the wisteria, all of those varieties of vegetation, plants, and the gardens, the nooks and the crannies, all of that was just very romantic. And so if I had to sum up today's visit in one word, that word would be romance. Houmas House, with its bell that tolls every time a wedding takes place, is steeped in romance. And so for those who enjoy the essence of romance, then Houmas House is exactly the place to visit. Well, that's it for today. This is Dr. B, your Creole Connection, and we'll catch you in the next video.